It's on. Check the old hair. Tone it up. Tone it down. What a week it's been. Bula, everybody, and welcome to sunny Fiji. You know me, it's Taylor. How exciting. So I guess let's start at the beginning. The week before we left for Fiji sucked. There's no other way to put it. It sucked. It was so exhausting, just what it takes to literally unwind your whole life and put it into a storage unit.
All right, there it is. Almost everything in the world that we own.
It's too much if you ask me.
It's too much.
For two people.
Don't move again, featureless and Taylor.
Packing was awful. It was tedious, and we have accumulated so much stuff over the past 5 years. It's insane how many little things are left behind after all the big stuff is packed. And so it was really stressful, and it took us a really long time.
It is 2:52 in the morning, and we just finished packing our townhouse.
We were spending 12 hours, 14 hours on the weekend before and the weekend of the move, just getting ready to leave.
It's Tuesday morning. We're heading to LA today. We're gonna get a couple hours of sleep. We checked into the M Hotel, which is up the street from us. I think the interesting thing about today is that it got pretty real for the first time. Alyssa's been anticipating getting Lily situated.
It was awful. After everything was out of the apartment, it was just Lily and her bag and us. And I just started crying from there, and I could not stop.
Lily's staying with our friend Maya and J-Ro.
And Taylor drove, and I just cried all the way there. Got out of the car, and Maya wasn't there, but her boyfriend J-Ro was, and he was the best about it. He just made me feel so good and confident, and she's definitely on vacation as well.
And now, it's fall.
Put the last stuff in the storage unit. We turned in the keys and said goodbye to Mist Effect Avenue. Goodbye, house. We're off on our grand adventure. And drove away. We're out of here. Goodbye, Las Vegas. We headed over to LA to stay with our friends and say goodbye. In the madness, I didn't take any photos or videos except for these test shots with my new camera and this one wall-worthy photo of Alyssa. Here we go. Not me. We're headed to Fiji tonight, 11-hour flight. It's gonna be awesome. This was it. We were off on our grand adventure. After all the hard work, packing, goodbyes, tears, it was all happening. We were on our way to take on the world together. Except Alyssa is a Sapphire American Airlines Advantage member, and we used her points to book the Fiji flight, so she got to board in Group 1, and I had to board in Group 8. For the record, she could have boarded with me, but she didn't. That night, we headed off across the Pacific on Fiji Airways, ready to finally be on our way and start our grand adventure.
There's a man out there. Wilson, keep your voice down. Will you look? Mr. Wilson, I'm warning you. Will you please look in the name of...
'Flight to Fiji was not as bad as Taylor's experience. I did fall asleep for I think 3 hours total. There was a screaming kid the whole entire time. It was not the worst flight in my experience. I've had worse.
11 long hours and 5,000 miles later, we were finally in Fiji. I tried to wave at the pilots, but they didn't wave back. No big deal. We headed inside and cleared customs, got our first passport stamp of the trip, and picked up our bags.
All right, we made it to Fiji. We did lose our first day. The first day of our trip.
March 30th, 2023. We'll never live that day.
First day of our trip is really the second day of our trip. March 30th.
From the airport, we caught a taxi over to Denaru Island, which is this man-made island that was constructed for the purposes of putting up tons of competing hotels. We were staying at the Sofitel Hotel, which Alyssa insisted that we splurge on for our honeymoon. And I mean, she was totally right. The place was amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. All these hotels around here have like a competition going for who has the best restaurants.
Number one on the island. Whoa, oh that's cool. They're not the only 3 restaurants on the island, are they? Okay.
We get to the pool, we check in, we hung around by the pool and had some of the best cappuccinos that I think I've ever had in my life. And I fell asleep. Was nicely woken up by somebody who works here telling me that the room was ready early.
The Sofitel Resort I chose, 5-star resort. It's where our honeymoon was, so I wanted it to be spectacular. It was right on the beach, tons of cabanas, it had a couple restaurants, and it was really great.
And then we proceeded to spend the rest of the day just by the water, shaking off the jet lag, and drinking little Fiji Golds on the beach.
Fiji Gold. It's a yellow beer. Nice consistency, good bubbles. Fizzy, bitter like a beer.
Light.
Bubbly.
Tastes like every other light beer.
It does kind of, doesn't it? It's pretty cool.
Day 3 of our trip was technically the first official day of our honeymoon. After getting a solid 12 hours of sleep, a great breakfast, and a swim in water that was much shallower than I bet you thought it was, we hung out by the ocean all day and just did a whole bunch of this. And a little bit of this. And some of this. But mostly this. That night, we ate at the number 2 restaurant on the island, also at the Sofitel. And I started my career as a master food critic with this succulent review.
Mine looks like a little garden of delicious food. And a little cocktail. And there's Alyssa's. Looks like Gibraltar. Little tuna Gibraltar.
Honestly, though, was not as good as Alyssa's review.
Yummy.
It's now time for Foreign Fun Facts. Fiji. Fiji is an archipelago located in the South Pacific Ocean. Nearly 1 million people call its 332 individual islands home, but only about 110 of those are inhabited. Fiji is renowned for its incredible coral reefs and is often referred to as the soft coral capital of the world. Fiji has also been the set for numerous Hollywood films, including one that made me weep over a volleyball. Most of all, Fiji is known for its warm and friendly hospitality, often referred to as the Bula spirit. And if you haven't noticed, they drive on the left side of the road because, you guessed it, the British were here.
Well, we are very good with boats.
The next day, much of the same. A little bit of work and a whole lot of making sure my stomach stayed pale at any cost. And then it was time for lunch by the ocean, where we devoured this next level movie reference.
Uh-oh. Smokers.
I look like a dirt.
Ooh, I got stung on the balls. Oh,
What?
jelly got me.
That night, and most nights, we took the Bula bus to explore the island and grab dinner. The Bula bus is this cheap shuttle that runs about every 15 minutes or so around Denaru Island and hits all the hotels, takes you to the different restaurants, into the port where you can go to some more shops and restaurants, etc.
And now a Lillian update.
Lily has made herself right at home with our friends Maya and J-Ro. She's already figured out where all the good banisters are and has introduced Maya to her favorite game called Oh My God, How Did You Get Up There?
Oh my God. How did you get up there?
Day 5 was our scuba dive day, and we booked a 2-tank dive out from Denaru Harbor with white tip scuba. Alyssa likes to take her time when she dives, so it was really nice that we were with a group that was this small and with guides who could tailor each dive to the different skill levels. They took us out past a number of tiny islands, one that was apparently owned by Google, I think it was this one, and finally to a reef off Tavarua near Cloud Break, the world-famous surfing break. Diving here in Fiji is probably some of the best diving that I've ever done. The coral here is so much healthier than in a lot of places in the Caribbean that we've been to. There was this whole huge mountain of this like lettuce leaf looking coral. This was amazing. Oh, there he goes.
Smile.
Uh-oh, mega tiger prawns. They grow so big, only to end up on a plate with me.
These are literally the best cappuccinos I've ever had in my life. These are so good.
It's always a video. We decided we were gonna go to Tivua Island, this maybe football field-sized postage stamp of an island. I was a little skeptical at first, to be honest. Like, I really like boats, and I thought it would be fun for us to take this big clipper ship and sort of sail out there. It was a little older than I expected, and it was just packed to the gills with tourists, like ourselves. Kind of thought the boat would be a little bigger. Didn't realize that it was going to take an hour and a half to get out there because it was a very slow boat compared to some of the other boats that can go there. Honestly, it was really fun though. As we were headed over there, everybody was singing and dancing and having a great time. And this whole area is like Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, where you're just sailing around to different islands. You can see all these islands in the distance. It's not like they're so far that they're over the horizon. It's just like everywhere you look, there's like island there, island there, island there, all around you.
You're on a private island, Tivua. Note to self, come back here all the time.
Capping off the last day of our trip to Fiji with a helicopter tour to Love Island.
Love Island.
I guess it's technically Heart Island.
Heart Island, yeah,
Shaped
yeah.
like a heart. Not an anatomically correct heart, like one of the Cupid hearts.
To end off our honeymoon.
20 minutes later.
Psych, it got cancelled. Well, yeah, okay, fine. We're going tomorrow.
Nice cocktail. By the beach. In the day bed. Yes. This is where we're supposed to be.
Final day in Fiji, we took to the skies, like the majestic red-throated lorikeet which adorns the $5 Fijian banknote. Something that I can't wait to tell you about, honestly, in a later video, because currency is my favorite souvenir when I travel. It represents a country's most prized heritage, its art and history and culture all wrapped up in one, and I could go on and on about it, except we gotta ride this helicopter, I guess, so up and away. Helitour was the perfect way to cap off our honeymoon and get a real cacao nagal's eye view, if you know what I mean, of the islands just off of Denaroo. This was a bucket list first for both Alyssa and I, since neither of us had ever flown in a helicopter before. Oh my god, it was so cool. Soared over the incredible coral reefs, the outer islands, and the world-famous cloud break off Tavarua Island, and over to the famous Heart Island, which, as advertised, did look very much like a heart. But if you squint really, really hard from this spot way up in the air, doesn't the Heart Island kind of look like a Lillian?
You talk to a lot of people about this trip. Everybody wants to know what we're doing. And like everybody's just like, oh, it's amazing, it's so exciting. And it is really cool. But it doesn't really hit home until like just now, like what you have to sacrifice to do something like this. Like Alyssa's left her job, we put all our stuff in storage. We don't get to see our friends or Lily for a year, which is pretty rough because she's, you know, the third member of our family, and you know, I think that was when it became real for me.
What was it like dropping Lily off for the last time? I cried so hard I couldn't even talk.
It comes at a bit of an emotional cost, for sure. We're on the precipice of a pretty fantastic adventure, and it's terrifying and exciting. Mostly exciting.
Next time on Taylor and Alyssa's Big Fancy Blah Blah Blah. We trade sunny Fiji for rainy Auckland, get cozy with left side driving, meet a giant, and throw up inside a giant hamster ball. Well, I mean, almost. And so many weird, awesome, and smelly other things too.
Yeah, we need to monitor that. Honeymoon, you know, get a bath yet? That's okay.